Does anybody realize no matter what we do in this economy, we're still going to be poor? I can make $20 an hour and still be poor.
Hey y'all, either I'm tripping or $18 and $20 an hour is the new $7.25. Because what are you working for? Every time I get paid, I'm broke.
All right, you guys. So wages are stagnating and most people just are tired of it. I can understand. I can totally understand, you guys. I'm on your side with that because it is hard. It's hard in America. It's hard out here. And I think a lot of these companies, they understand that, but there's not too much that they can do as well. Their hands are tied behind their back because guess what? Their prices are higher too. Everything is higher. There's no way to get out of this situation. We need some type of relief system. Unfortunately, you guys, we really do. But I do want to give a shout out to the content creators in this video. All of these content creators, thank you so much for bringing us your ideology on what's going on with the wages, and shout out to the original creator. I will link that in the description. You guys, before we dive in, make sure you drop a like on this video. I'll really appreciate that. Also, I got a huge shout out to one of my supporters, gave me a big super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting the community and my channel. But yeah, let's dive right in. Let's see what these people have to say.
America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth and they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. I mean, even your damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up except the paycheck. Oh, and everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. The box is smaller. The portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025. And it's fucking brutal.
Y'all know that the average American doesn't have any money left over, if but maybe $200 or $300 left after they get paid every 2 weeks or every month. Did y'all know that? I'm sorry, but that I literally feel like it drive me to voluntary homelessness. I would volunteer to be homeless. There's no way they'd have me out here working for anybody and I can't live life after I pay bills. Y'all can have these bills back. Take the car, take the crib. You can have it. Listen, I'm going to be homeless on the streets before I dare. Because, see, the way I'm set up, my Father which art in heaven would never have that be my portion. That's not my portion. There's no way that paying bills and not having any money left over to really exist, that's not my portion. That's not my portion. And I feel like if that doesn't motivate you and inspire you to get out here and go make some money, make more money. See, the problem with us nowadays is not that we don't know how to make money. It's just that we need to make more money. Find ways to make more money. Stop making excuses. You need to be trying to be the president of the United States before you stop trying to find a new job. Listen, if you got to switch jobs every single 2 weeks, then that's what you got to do. May the best salary win. Thank you.
I love how we didn't.
You know, I agree. I agree. I know she was kind of making it like a joke, but I agree. These jobs don't love you. They're not your friends. Your loyalty means nothing. So the best thing that you can do is take your skills and go find it somewhere else where they will pay you more. That's kind of the part of the rat race of life that you have to do. So many people serve their companies with loyalty 10, 15, 20 years, and your wages will stay stagnant unless you move around.
Raise minimum wage because it would make food more expensive, but then just made the food more expensive anyways. Republicans always argue that they don't want to raise the minimum wage because then that's going to affect inflation. But as we can see right now, Inflation is on the rise and minimum wage has not changed since 2007. At the federal level, it's still $7.25 an hour. Like, make it make sense. Everybody that's making less than $100K right now a year, we in poverty. Okay? We are in poverty. We broke.
Any adult that's making minimum wage is crazy. Let me repeat myself. Any adult that's making minimum wage is crazy. You're telling me you have no prior experience? Minimum wage is for like a teenager that's just out of high school that's trying to get their first McDonald's job, Wendy's job, Pizza Hut. But a grown ass adult, that's crazy. You definitely should have some type of skills under your belt to where you're not walking in entry level or minimum wage for anything. It's crazy.
All right. If you try to rent an apartment complex, they want you to make 3 times the amount of the rent. Rent is $1,500. Who's making that? Who's making 3 times the amount? Okay, unless you are a rich doctor, lawyer, whatever, have your own business. But the majority of us, we ain't got it. So a lot of us got to stay at home with our parents because we can't afford to move out because they won't raise our wages. They continue to have inflation increase day by day, year by year. The government will help everybody else but its own people. They're out here giving money to this country and that country and doing this and doing that. But where's our money? Huh? Where is our money?
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance.
That's incorrect. An entry-level decent car is not $30,000. I can pull it up right now. An entry-level car for entry-level, let's quote that in. Entry-level is a car that has over 80,000 miles. Not a brand new entry level car. If you're trying to save money, you better get a car over 80,000 miles, and that car should run you maybe $15,000 to $19,000.
And they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over.
Said $240 a month. I paid $240 for 2 vehicles. Like, where are these numbers coming from? Am I got full coverage. I'm confused.
Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows, just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
And here it is. This is what they're all trying to do. Because of the Great Resignation, where people were leaving their jobs in droves and applying to companies that were desperate for employees, we were able to ask for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more than we were making before due to the cost of living increases and due to the fact that wages have been stagnant for decades. So while we did make a lot of progress, the workers, the working class, we made a lot of progress in how much we were asking for. The companies have now shot back with firing everyone and rehiring people at slave wages, despite the fact that inflation is still super high. Like, you're better off not having a job and relying on family and government resources than getting into a job that pays you just enough so that you don't qualify for any aid whatsoever, because this is just absurd. I want us to stay strong, but like, this is literally our livelihoods, our abilities to eat and sleep and have medicine. I really hope that the working class can stay strong. I really hope that we can continue to see more unions, because these wages are laughable, they are offensive, and they are inhumane.
It is a hard conversation, I must say, with all of these people. It is hard. I mean, I'm not doing the best either. But the number one thing that I will not do is get on the internet and complain about it. I won't get on the internet and complain about it because guess what? The internet does not care. Do something about it. The internet doesn't care, you guys. You have to do something about it. It's hard. Yes, the jobs aren't paying enough. Yes, the food prices are high. Yes, the rent is high. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, man. But the internet doesn't care. It's like, that's what people fail to realize. The one thing, if I gave you any type of advice, is that you need to invest strategically. You need to invest. If you're left with $300 a month, you need to invest 100 of it every paycheck. If you're left with $300 a check, invest 100 a check into stocks. Something, a high yield savings account. It's not high growth as other investments, but a high yield savings account be a safe way to generate return on your money. If you have any type of savings, like, invest, you guys. And as for stocks, markets are volatile, I know, but go for long term, diversified, buy and hold. It's a low cost strategy, you guys. Just invest.
Minimum wage was never meant for teenagers. It was meant so grown adults didn't starve. And they've been playing in our faces about it ever since. So when they created the minimum wage back in 1938, it wasn't about giving kids a few bucks for gas money. It was about making sure grown adults with families could survive. FDR himself literally said it. A living wage, not just enough to exist, but to live decently. But look at what they tell you now. Minimum wage is for kids. It's just a starter job. You're not supposed to live off of that. Because here's the truth they don't advertise. Most minimum wage workers today aren't teenagers. The average minimum wage worker is about 35 years old. A lot of them are raising families, paying rent, and surviving off tips and scraps. So why do they push this teenager myth? Because if they can convince you that minimum wage workers aren't real adults, then they can shame people for being poor. They can freeze wages. They can protect the billionaires at the top, all while blaming you for a system that they rigged. It's the same old scam. Blame the worker, hide the exploitation. Pretend poverty is a personal failure instead of a manufactured reality. If a full-time job can't cover basic rent, food, and healthcare, that's not a worker problem. That's a broken system problem. Minimum wage is supposed to be the floor that you could stand on, not the basement they bury you in. Don't let them shame you into surviving a system that was never meant to let you live easy in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said earlier, you guys, minimum wage is not for adults. It's just not. A lot of the times when you come into a job and they give you minimum wage, which we know all the minimum wage jobs, there's no reason why a grown 35-year-old adult should be walking in entry level at minimum wage. Yes, you might fall on your face. Yes, you might have to go back to McDonald's or wherever you might have to go, be a delivery driver for Pizza Hut or whatever. That is not something that you need to hold on to forever and try to provide for your family. It's just not going to work. But you also should not be freshly 35 coming in and upset that you're at a minimum wage. That's just, I mean, you're telling me since from the age of 18 to 35, you didn't get any type of jobs to where you can present a resume and get a little bit higher than minimum wage? That's kind of the problem. A lot of people just don't have longevity. They really don't. You have to hone in some skills, technical skills, AI skills, hone in some skills. You won't get minimum wage if you try harder, if you have skills under your belt. Most people don't want to work that hard, though, for things. And I'm not talking about in the job. Most people don't want to use their free time and spare time when they're not at work, when they're sitting at home scrolling on TikTok. They don't want to use that time to go study on AI. They don't want to use that time to go get certifications for AI. But they know AI is everywhere. Guys, I've collected like 7 to 10 AI certifications this year alone. Because yes, I have my job, yes, but at the same time, things can happen. And if my job wants to swipe or no swipe me right out of there, it's okay because I will go land an AI job.
Feel like you're working harder than ever and still broke? Yeah, well, it turns out it's not just in your head. Back in the 70s, if you worked full-time at minimum wage, you could afford a home, a car, maybe even a vacation. Today, you're lucky if you can cover rent and gas. Forget the vacation. That's just a fever dream at this point. Meanwhile, worker productivity has gone way up. You're doing more. You're making more money for the company. But your paycheck? It's been plain dead for decades. Now, where's all that extra money going? Well, it's not magic. It's just trickling up. Corporate profits are at a record high. CEO pay is up over 1,000%. But somehow they can't afford to raise wages. Wild, right? Apparently a livable wage would just ruin the economy. But billion-dollar bonuses, totally sustainable. And again, this isn't a glitch and it's not a mistake. It's exactly how the system was designed. Pay the workers just enough to survive. Keep the rest at the top. If you feel like the system is rigged, that's because it is.
So, in conclusion, I could see that a lot of these people are struggling. They are struggling. They are worried about what the CEO is making. They're worried about what the system is rigged to do. They're worried about that they don't make enough money. They don't. Like the young man that was saying that you make $75,000 a year, which I don't make at all, not even including YouTube. And he's left with $3,000 a year, which I am left with well over that a year. And I have way more bills than that, unfortunately. I mean, I just bought a house. I have a mortgage. I have kids in gymnastics. I could tack on a few more bills. I have a car note that's higher. And I make less. So there's a lot of things that people just don't want to grab onto, right? I consider YouTube as freelance or gig work, right? This is a job for me. It's a job. It's a second job. It's a side hustle. And I may not be getting paid crazy amounts of money, but whatever I get paid off of YouTube, it helps. You guys, you have to do something, right? When I say freelance or gig work, I'm not referencing to DoorDash or Uber Eats or Uber driver. You don't have to do that. You can literally become a journalist using AI and have AI generate all your articles. You can literally become a social media manager and run people's social media accounts. You sit on TikTok all day anyway. You post your videos anyway. Why don't you manage someone else's and post theirs and get paid for it? There's so many different things that you can do. that people just don't want to do it. You could become a photographer, world renowned, with the iPhone that you're recording with. You guys know iPhones create some of the best photos. You can become that. You have to let your creativity flow, because if you don't, you will be stagnant. You will be stuck at the job that you just hate, that doesn't pay you enough. But you have to break off those chains, you guys. You have to do something for yourself. Stop working for the company and work for yourself. I'm not saying quit your job, but stop working for the company and work for yourself as well. You guys, I work at 9 to 5. I work every single day. But it is 5:30 in the morning right now, and I'm recording a YouTube video, and I start work at 6:30. Guys, get to it. I don't want to hear anything else. Get to it. Till next time, folks, I'll see you in the next one.